What's up, dude? So, yeah, I think Spirit's trying to point out the bloated bobblehead of moral righteousness. So that is part of the death of the ego, where you are forced to critically think the bloated bobblehead of moral righteousness. So, for example, let's talk about Christians. You can be a high vibrational Christian or you can be a low vibrational Christian. The low vibrational Christian uses the Lord's name in vain. That's why you are taught, if you are a believer of the Christian faith, which means you follow the teachings of Jesus Christ. So a low vibrational Christian who uses the Lord's name in vain, somehow in just like in the swing of life, we've gotten to associate that meaning like cussing, like saying, God damn it, don't use the Lord's name in vain. That's not what it means. Using the Lord's name in vain means using Jesus, heavenly Christ, for your own supply grabs, for your own vanity. Wearing a cross, but acting the exact opposite. Saying you're a Christian, but judging others, for example. Saying, we sit at the stuck-up lunch table and we got Jesus sitting with us. There's a bunch of people who are being forced to see Jesus would have never sat at that stuck-up lunch table. In fact, he flipped the table. That was the teachings of Jesus Christ. And a bunch of low vibrational Christians are using the Lord's name for their own vanity and fleecing the concept of Jesus Christ. So, in the bloated open throat chakras, a bunch of people's throat chakras just got open. And the bloated bobblehead of moral righteousness that points and says, you're so bad, but we're so good. Yeah, look at how evil, whatever they do is so evil. Yeah, so for the record, Christians, you participate since you were, well, it depends on your religion, since you were a kid, in flesh and blood rituals. That's what your religion, team, cult, whatever you want to call it, every time you have taken communion, you have participated in a flesh and blood ritual. So be careful who you point fingers at. Body of Christ, I'll gobble it up. Blood of Christ, I'll drink it down. Amen. Yeah. And you have to remember, not everybody is part of your flesh and blood ritual club. Christian people do not own the United States of America. High vibrational Christian people understand that. Low vibrational Christian people absolutely do not. And they have the bloated bobblehead of moral righteousness. And most of those people were indoctrinated from birth to have this hyper-narcissistic attitude about their beliefs while judging other people and have complete cognitive dissonance that your club, religion, cult, whatever you want to call Christianity, does some weird shit. We have Catholics that are still passing the basket around their congregations so they can collectively pay off the massive pedophile fees. And people are saying, yeah, that's our club. Yeah, here's a 20 in the basket, here's a 50, here's a 100, here's a 5, here's a 10, rather than turning and giving it to their own child. And their club believes no exception for rape or incest. That's fucked up. Yeah. Why you doing the karma for these pedo priests? Like, why are you paying off their karma? But you point at a picture, point fingers at other places. So let's go to the exact opposite, the Satanists. They have this thing called SatanCon, where you can go and get a reverse baptism. Yeah, that sounds really evil, doesn't it? Like, they do a ceremony in the SatanCon event. If you want, you can get a reverse baptism. You just denounce God. Now let's have a paradigm shift. Here's a man who was raised Catholic, and his mama was so proud of him because he was an altar boy. And for 3 years, the priest had him in the altar room, whispering in his ear, "This is God's will." And that club is still collectively paying off the PDF file, if you will, fees. For 3 years, that priest said this is God's will, as he was taking advantage of this boy. And now this boy's walking around SatanCon. They say, you want to denounce that God? We'll perform a ceremony for you. You can denounce that God and set yourself free. Yeah, wait a minute now. What is more evil? The Satanic Temple, who are performance artists, political activists. If a mother calls them and says, the state I'm in says no exception for rape or incest, and my little daughter got held down by a total scary pervert dude and impregnated her, and I need the funds to travel to another state because she is not going to lose all her hopes and dreams at 12 years old and be the mother of this demon dude's baby. I refuse to force her to do that. Yet they will take their funds, their donations that they have gotten, and facilitate freedom for that little girl through quality doctors in states that haven't lost their fucking minds. Yeah, what is more evil? Because we all know the Antichrist tries to fool you. The bloated bobblehead of moral righteousness. There's a whole bunch of people, low vibrational people, that have fell for the Antichrist. They're bloated bobblehead of moral righteousness. They just haven't realized it. It's not like the Satanic Temple rolling in with a statue of Baphomet with a permit. Some people got some serious soul searching. They got indoctrinated in some fucked up shit. And when you have an awakening, when you have the expansion of the consciousness, and consciousness, a good way to explain it, if you're going to start thinking about, like, what is consciousness? It's the ability to comprehend. And when you go on an awakening, all of a sudden you start really comprehending because you have collapses of false realities, things you projected out, religious dogma, indoctrination just collapses. You start having to see the truth for what it is. With that comes the death of the ego. So there's a lot of people who may be outgrowing their religion. And it can be scary and terrifying. Just know you don't have to leave your religion. You have to practice the highest vibration of your religion. And we need people to practice highest vibrations of religions, because every religion has something wonderful about it. And every religion has something, a bunch of things, outdated, shitty, don't make no sense, blow the bobblehead of moral righteousness. And we have to understand that all our religious holy books are just that. They're books that used to be on a shelf with a bunch of other books in a library. Manuals on how to live a good life, written thousands of years ago. Religious indoctrination can put a complete veil and a complete false reality on you. And when it collapses, you can feel incredibly lost. So there's a bit of advice. You do not have to give up your religion. You have to practice the highest vibration of it and stop ignoring the insult to intelligence. The blow to bobblehead of moral righteousness is part of the death of the ego. All right, so there's the message. I've got a picture deck. I've got an animal deck. And I've got every sign here. So let's see. What does Spirit want to show? We're getting messages from animals and a picture from Spirit. Aries, you're first. Now, make sure you guys check the comment section of this video, because I will take Aries. I will put it through a search of past readings. Up to the top 5 most current readings with Aries in the title will pop up. It creates a whole storyline with the titles. Spirit wants you to read this advice. I'm an activated starseed, and those are your starseed transmissions. This is next level light work for serious light workers. Starseeds. Aries. And I'll preface it by this too, for everybody. If you have, a lot of people are scared to talk about, if you've had a starseed, I'll also put what is a starseed, a link in the comment section here. If you feel you're an activated starseed, if you have had a visit from an otherworldly being, I'm talking alien, paranormal, anything like that. If you've seen a glitch in the system, if you can feel when the veil is very thin, if you're a sensitive and you've seen some weird shit during your activation, I believe you. All right? I believe you. Okay, Aries. What's the message for Aries? What animal does Spirit want Aries to see? There's 2 realities that happen on planet Earth. 2 kinds of people. Those that can understand the intelligence and those that cannot. Okay? Unicorn. All right, what's the picture message for Aries? All right. So this is my card for the rhino who has a really bad temper and got so pissed off, took his horn and keyed it all along the car. And then when he cooled down, he said, I fucked my car up. Okay. There's Aries' message. Next. Who's next? Leo. Leo. What's a message for Leo? Stingray. Leo, you may find that your emotions may feel out of whack. You may be like, oh my God, like tsunamis of emotions coming over you. You may find yourself weeping at that fucking Kleenex commercial or some shit and saying, what the fuck? You may have emotions. Your emotions may have been turned on. So Spirit is aligning your chakra system. And you may have had kind of, your emotions may have been dulled for a long time. So chakras, if you don't know about chakras, it sounds like woo-woo, hippie granola shit. If you're not into spirituality or you're just starting to learn about this, think of chakras are energy ports within your body. And they got clogged. And you were living in kind of a numb state. And you got used to what that numb state feels like. So with your awakening, Spirit has taken a pipe cleaner. You got a plumber. A plumber might mean something. Now your chakra systems are clearing out and your energy is flowing again. It will settle itself down. But if you are having, and this is like AP stuff, if you are having serious issues, you have to talk to your doctor, of course, about that. All right. Message for Leo. I just heard the wise ones. All right, there's your message. Let me see here. I'm trying to keep these in order. Next one. Who's next? Who's next? When we talk about religions, instead of use the word religion, use the word club. It kind of brings it back down, the bloated bobblehead of moral righteousness. It kind of brings it back down. Taurus. If you recognize, I hear you recognize it. Okay, Taurus. What animal does Spirit want Taurus to see? Message for Taurus. Spirit's showing you nightingale and fire ant. All right. Somebody might hear the sweetest little songbird. All right. Next message for Taurus. Somebody might hear a girl or a woman singing. So this is my card for somebody who is so deep in their emotions, they're on an aircraft carrier in the middle of the ocean. All right, there's your message, Taurus. Next message. What's the next message? Pisces. You came out with a twirl. Pisces. Okay, I just heard you came out with a twirl and then I see this. Okay, Pisces. This just landed on this. We have the golden egg and oyster. All right, well, let's give Pisces another one. Pop on your own. What's the picture for Pisces? Message for Pisces. Pop on your own. A Pisces might come forward and have a really long story to say. Okay. This for sure means something. All right. This is my card for twin flames coming together and doing a great big mission. And then this fell down. Yeah. Venus wants her arms back. The masculine may be coming in real quick and saying, I'm here to help you. A Libra might mean something. Libra is ruled by the planet Venus. All right, there's your message. Next. I channeled that a long time ago. No, it's the masculine. He's like, I accept the mission. Yeah, I have a whole arms factory. Yeah, what kind of arms you want? All right. Somebody might join forces. Like one person has everything the other person needs. Okay. Yeah, this might be somebody who's taking forever. Okay. This is the person who's replacing a whole bunch of people who can't, the stingy motherfuckers. So the stingy motherfuckers own a whole loaf factory, and they take for fucking ever to figure out if they're going to dole out a breadcrumb. It doesn't affect their life in the slightest if they help Venus. Venus is like drowning in the water, screaming, help me. They all have life rings. And they say, her titties kind of make us nervous. What's up, broski? Yeah, you can go swimming while you're drunk? Here, have this life ring. Yeah. No, we got like 7. Yeah. Want to watch Q's little doodle in Poodle Land? No, we make her jump through hoops all the time before we even think about believing her. But everything she said is right. All right? So there's that message. The stingy motherfuckers. Yeah, dragons who can just make a hoard just like that and give nothing to their muse, who is literally drowning. Why? Well, because her titties make them feel weird. And they already got an old lady who sucks her dick. Yeah. Jedi status revoked from all those people. They made the Empress wait too long. Yeah, here comes somebody super fucking fast. The dudes who don't take for fucking ever to come to their senses. Okay. Next message. Aquarius. Aquarius. Can you believe those dudes left Princess Leia in the garbage with that thing that long while they were fucking around with the hoe bags at the cantina? Yeah, no, their Jedi status got revoked. It's true. Let's hear. Message for Aquarius. Zebra. Message for Aquarius. Somebody's super nervous. They might see somebody that they really like. All right, there's your message, Aquarius. Next. Who's next? Who's next? Pop on your own. Cancer. Message for Cancer. I just heard Corinne. Message for Cancer. The name Craig. Butterfly. You have 2 messages. Butterfly. An otter and owl. Somebody's absolutely identified a feminine that's part of their soul family. An owl is a sign for a psychic. This is a 6 of Cups type relationship. Somebody you can fuck around with, play with, have fun. Message for Cancer. What's the message for Cancer? San Diego might mean something. This is my card for the masculine, has ascended in energy. All right. London might mean something. This is also my card for the wheel has turned. All right. Next. Sagittarius. Sagittarius. What animal does Spirit want to show Sag? Message for Sagittarius. What's the message for Sagittarius? We've got Lion. And Cobra. What's the picture? Somebody might be very jealous. Somebody might have a toxic, jealous ex. Spirit may have sent in some, Here's some more pudding or something like that. Somebody might have seen their muse. She might got a nice caboose. All right. But it's not the one who makes an ass of herself. So let's remember, we don't want to be, the Empress doesn't make an ass of herself. So how to stay hood classy. A lot of leg, a lot of cleavage. Bare butt reeks of desperation. Now I lead with a bare picture of my ass. Yeah, baby, let me see your face. No! Only my ass. Yeah. That might be a private thing. Okay, there's the message. I gotta try to keep these in order. I hear now we're in order. Yeah, the Hoskies who just make asses of themselves is not that enticing to these dudes anymore. And ladies, when you show it all off right away, there's nothing left to the imagination. Like when you lead with your ass over your face, what does that say? Okay. Now, there are some muses whose bodies are a canvas for art. That's something different. I'm talking about desperate hoe bags. All right, so there's the message. Next message. When all they got is an ass, yeah, in 5 years, that ass gonna look different. Then you got nothing up here to... Then that dumpy skink just starts farting all the time. Okay, next message. This is for Virgo and Gemini. Virgo and Gemini. What's the message for Virgo and Gemini? We got beaver and fish and lamb. All right. Picture message for Virgo and Gemini. Okay. Okay, this just jumped out and landed on the Starseed transmission. Could have a narcissist showing up. Critical thinking. That's not what he wanted or believed in. Oh my God. Oh my fucking God. It's true. Hyper narcissist. I'm looking down and I see this. And I see her looking at this peacock. All right, next message. Can put that on the top. Next message. Libra. Message for Libra. What's the message for Libra? What animal does Spirit want to show Libra? Okay, a forearm might mean something. Thank you, Spirit. How cool is that? There's some validation, darlings. Next message. Somebody might be very nervous. Extremely nervous, all right? They may need a spiritual guide. This is my card for somebody who's a spiritual leader, a spiritual guide. There's your message, Libra. There's some instant validation right there, darlings. Capricorn. Message for Capricorn. What's the message for Capricorn? What's the message for Capricorn? Eagle. What's the picture message for Capricorn? Okay, so we're talking about bloated bobblehead of moral righteousness. He might just jump right in and see me wearing some horns, think I'm automatically Satanist, evil, witch, something totally evil. Tarot cards evil. Psychic evil. It's just demonic and evil. Gateway to hell evil. That's the bloated bobblehead of moral righteousness. Nothing that I do is evil. If we were taught, I'm not a witch. I don't do spells on people. I'm a Heyoka empath. And so I'm going to put some informative videos about what a Heyoka empath is and what clairvoyance actually means. And these people who have already judged me like I'm in some kind of weirdo cult or evil or whatever, I'm using the gifts given to me by God, by the God you believe in. And if we were to associate witches, I'm Glinda from The Wizard of Oz. I'm an empress. I'm the supreme empress. So nothing I do is evil. And it's time for everybody to learn what a Heyoka empath is. They're very rare. It's a super empath. And lower vibrational people will project out their own shadow onto me and believe what they want. High vibrational people think I'm delightful because they see without projection. And that's what a Heyoka empath is. They're a mirror. And I'm just living my life trying to help my collective heal through the spiritual awakening and get through the dark night of the soul, because it is so dark you might blow your flame out. And I'm here to remind people it's going to get better. That I love you. I hope you love you. So there's nothing I do is evil. You stuck up bloated bobblehead of moral righteousness. Paying off pedophile fees and shit for your club. I'm not part of any religion. If I was to say what I would be, it would maybe be pagan, earth goddess. I'm not part of any religion. I'm a spiritual person. All right? Let's hear for Capricorn and Eagle. This is also my card for the Fool, brand new thing happening. All right, there's the message, Capricorn. And final message, Scorpio. What's the message for Scorpio? I lifted this up and this stayed down. Black egg. So, the black egg. I talk about this as bog bodies. So when we have trauma, and Scorpio stands for death. When we have trauma as a child, and we have to remember trauma works like a light switch. It's not a spectrum. It's you've either had trauma happen to you or you haven't. So a lot of people who are scapegoat type people of their family will even have a hard time, like feel guilty saying, I've had trauma. Yeah, because that other person has had trauma way worse than me over there. You've been trained to kind of be that way. But you have to understand whatever happened to you growing up, flip that trauma switch. Like blowing a fuse. It's not who's had more trauma than who. And so we tend to stuff that trauma down in our belly, in our gut, that energy, our second brain. And I call that bog bodies. So think of those like bogs that we hear about where it has like a perfect environment, the bog rips open, and all of a sudden this body, mummified, petrified body from 1,000 years pops up, and we all study it, figure out how it got sacrificed to the bog. And we have a lot of these down in our stomach. And when you go on the awakening, they start floating up. And it's issues that you may not even realize that you've been harboring down in your bog. And I call them birthing bog bodies. And what it is the age you are now is the appropriate time, the appropriate age to deal with that level of trauma. So Spirit may have, when you were a child, put a veil or something over you so you could survive. And then when you have the awakening, it's called the cleanse. And so what I associate it with is the Kool-Aid pitcher. If you're my age, I'm 50, you know how Kool-Aid worked when we were kids. You had a little envelope of Kool-Aid, and you poured it in the envelope, and you had to add some sugar to it. Because if you ever drank the Kool-Aid without the sugar, it's fucking nasty. So your body, your vessel, is the Kool-Aid pitcher. And it has been filled all the way to the brim. There's no more room at the top of your vessel. And at the bottom is all these black eggs, all these bog bodies taking up space. And you don't have any room for the sugar. And your Kool-Aid is fucking nasty. So Spirit starts this process called the cleanse, where these issues start rising up. And you have to look the devil in the face. So go easy on yourself, because and really hug your little self, because that's what your little self was dealing with. When this age now is the appropriate time to even think about that level of trauma. So if you had never gotten help, you are now going to help your inner self, your little child, your inner child. And it's going to happen whether or not you want it to happen. So you should surrender. Because the minute you birth that bog body, the water goes down in your pitcher. This motherfucker's out of there. Spirit immediately pours sugar in. And you raise vibrations. You say, I feel better. Then another bog body floats up. And then it happens almost like a snowball effect. And you start feeling better and better and better. And that's called alchemy. And you are loving and lovable enough that Spirit has come in and alchemized you, healed you. So that's the message of the black egg. I am an alchemist. All right? A galactic professor, a teacher, a magician. We're also going to learn about the archetype of the magician. Pop on your own. Somebody may have fallen down some stairs. Okay? Somebody may have had a tower. So if you're a starseed, you may have had a major accident. You may have snapped a bone. Browning. You may have snapped a bone and healed really quickly. You may have lost a tooth. You may have had a primal fear. You may have had the shit scared out of you, a deep primal fear. That's all part of activation. Something activated within you. We don't know enough about DNA now, where your DNA got activated. And there's somebody who is scared to go down the stairs because they swore they felt something push them. And they stumbled down the stairs or fell down the stairs. Spirit is saying you are not crazy. That happened. That will never happen again for the rest of your life. It was part of your starseed activation. And you can go down the stairs without being scared anymore. All right? So once again, if that resonates, make sure you watch in the comment section. I put all these informative things. If you don't feel comfortable clicking the link, I do understand. I promise I'm not nefarious linking. Everybody else clicks the link and it just goes right to the video. But I also put the title of the video too, so you can copy the title and paste it into the search on YouTube, and that video will pop up. It's very important you watch this video on what is a starseed. The videos that Spirit points out from different light workers around YouTube, it's just that one video. I work like a librarian for Spirit. And that will explain what has happened. And you don't have to be afraid anymore. Okay? All right. Scorpio might have been going through it. The dark night, I will also put a link on what the dark night of the soul is, where we got that concept called the dark night of the soul, and it's losing who you thought you were. So I'll also put that in there. And remember, everyone, knowledge is the key to freedom. If you are going through a very brutal spiritual awakening, if you have very deep spiritual depression, something loving and higher came in to heal you with the help of your soul family and arts and entertainment. Arts and entertainment are the oldest form of healing. So what you like, performance, music, what you think of when you think of arts and entertainment, acting. But arts and entertainment also includes athletics. It also includes tech, anything tech. Spirit has called upon the oldest light workers to help heal the collective. And Spirit likes my Akashic Library skills. I'll also put a link about the Akashic Library. All right. Knowledge is the key to freedom. If you watch these videos, you will feel better. I promise. And then make sure you look in the comment section for your sign and then your message from your animals. And if you watch this right away, you may not see any of this stuff yet. I'm working on it, and revisit, because you do have more messages. And that's every video on my channel. If you've only just watched, you've missed all of your starseed transmissions that are in every comment section. All right, there's the message. Have a good day. And let's all be the highest vibrational person we can be.